of the world, now I'm living. And the good just gets better, keeps on giving. Not even close to the end, it's just beginning. Life is getting lighter while the days are getting brighter, yeah.
Hey, it's Ann Perry. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Today, my guest is Bridgette Love. She's an astronumerologist live from Los Angeles, and I'm recording from the East Coast of Canada. So we're crossing the globe today. Hey, Bridgette.
Bernadette.
All right. Okay.
All right.
What? It's all good.
All right.
Bridgette,
so here we go.
Bernadette, you know what? It's bridgettelove.com. That's what you need to know. That's the important thing that you need to know. We have had a very challenging afternoon today trying to get through our recordings. We've been having way too much fun. We're both losing our voices, but we have something really important to share with you today.
Yes. Bernadette has a lot to share with you today as well. So.
I'm just trying to reinvent Bridgette.
Right. So thank you so much, Anne, for having me on your channel. It's going to be such a fun session to talk a lot about the, what are we talking about?
Most important number for compatibility.
There you go. Yes, the most important number in compatibility. So I'm so excited to talk to you about this today. Thank you for having me back on your channel.
Well, thanks for having the courage to come back. You guys can only see what we do behind the scenes. Like, honest to God, we do work really hard to create really good videos for you, but today we completely lost it.
Yeah, I think today
you needed to see that we have a lot of fun.
Right.
Even though we work really hard.
Yes.
And we're getting a little bit punchy now, and the Mercury retrograde from hell is really beating us up. But it's all good.
Right. Exactly. It's all good.
We were talking about the fact that there's way too much emphasis on the internet about the life path number being the number that we need to pay attention to when we're looking for compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hoping that we could kind of enlighten you a little bit, that there's another number out there that's way more important than looking at the life path number.
Yes.
So do you want to elaborate on that, Bridgette?
It is actually the heart's desire. And actually the soul witch number is the most important number to look for in a compatibility chart. And the reason for this is because when we look at the most important aspect of a person's life, or what makes them truly happy, that is when you're able to see if what makes you truly happy is also aligning with that particular purpose that that other person shares with you. So this is actually a number that is all about understanding also, you know, your most intimate side, you know, so this is where, this is like, you know, the soul, just like the number that you actually act upon behind closed doors, because it's more about the subtlety of your expression. You know, this is why also, like in the numbers, when you find it with the sword, it's all about the vowels, which is the most subtle aspects of a name. They're not very out there, but it does indicate a sound, right? So this is all about the understanding the true quality of a person's happiness, you know. So I mean, don't you think that's one thing? I feel a lot of people tend to look at the life path for compatibility, but this is why so many people don't resonate with it, right? Because
exactly,
sense of you know, I just don't feel like I connect with that life path, even though you may have the same life path.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of inaccurate information on the internet. It's the life path number sells. I mean, let's face it, it sells, right? Because that's the one thing when you talk about numerology that most people understand is life path number. So that's the first thing they go to.
Right.
So I don't mean to, I'm not trying to bash any other numerology sites or anything like that, but I think there's been so much dissemination of numerology online where they've reduced it to just simple numbers, right? And there's nothing simple about numerology, right? There's nothing simple about a life path number. There's nothing simple about looking at a complex compound life path number. That means, you know, two numbers before you turn it into a single number. All of that is a code. It's a birth code, and we brought it with us, right? We brought it with us.
And I think, like, I like that you said that, you know, the way it sells is always about the life path number, but it's such a complex system, you know, like numerology is like not just a life path number. You have to see everything, you know, it's not the soul, just, another basic central aspect, but also, you know, what about your gifts and talents?
Yeah.
You know, that's something also that you can see, like, what if your gifts and talents is not something that aligns with your partner's gifts and talents? So even like what you have to do also, like the direction in life also can be seen through the expression as well, right? So there's so many aspects to just the life path number. And I think the life path number is the most important number for yourself to understand.
It's the lesson path, right? It's the lessons that we've chosen to learn.
Exactly.
Right.
And that is something that I feel can only be, it can be highlighted for self-development, but for compatibility, no, I don't think it has absolutely no connection.
Yeah,
You
it,
know?
it plays a small part. I mean, if you
Yeah.
know what a person's challenges are, then you
Hmm.
can decide whether you're willing to put up with those challenges or not.
Right.
And I think
Right.
about the life path number 9.
Hmm.
The nines are the givers, right? So if somebody who has a life path number of 9 who wants to be the giver, who doesn't worry about the money, just gives it all away, sort of thing, that might not resonate so well with somebody who's a 4 life path number who's all about their security. Okay,
Right.
you can see one element, there,
Hmm.
but I sure wouldn't want to make my decision as to whether I would get involved with somebody just based on that life path number.
Right. And that's the thing that you have to also see, that the life path number is also the more broadening aspect of a person,
Right.
where I see like the life path number kind of like the bottom of the pyramid, where it's the broadest aspect, and then the
Mhm.
sword is just in the top.
Yeah.
That's like the little part, but it's like the top peak, um you know indication of a person's chart. And I think, it's just, I also think the life path number is more about the first impression. I feel like that energy that the person encompasses
Hmm.
is also like something that a life path number, like, you can feel attached to someone by loving their energy and the way that they present themselves. But then when you actually get to know them, which is where the swords really comes out, right? Which
Yeah.
is like when you're actually spending time with them and you're actually seeing like how they react to certain things, or just seeing those subtle things, that's when you really see if that's true compatibility or not.
Well, the other aspect too is, I mean, that the soul urge or the heart's desire is, where our dreams and our desires and what really makes us happy exists, right? And I remember struggling with mine for a long time because my heart's desire number is a 6,
Right.
which is all about being of service to people.
Mhm.
But I always related that back to family, because I always felt that the 6 was the nurturer, the person that was supposed to be taking care of the kids and creating the home and the dog and the family and you know, all baking cookies for the kids when they came home, just being that kind of gal. And I certainly wasn't that. I definitely wasn't that. But as I come more into my own alignment in my chart, being of service to other people is really, really what's making me happy, right? And
Right.
that's, my YouTube channel and doing my numerology.
Right.
But I think that heart's desire number, because it's low man on the totem pole, so to speak, right? It's
Mhm.
third down in terms of the intensity of what you feel. Life path number, you feel the most. Expression number, second to that, and third to that is a heart's desire. A lot of people are disconnected from that, from their heart's desire.
It's because you can't really control what really, like, when you feel those intense happy feelings, it's because
Mhm.
you can't control the external forces that brings that feeling. It's just something that comes naturally. For
Right.
example, like you having a soul urge number 6, I'm sure you went through instances in your life where you had to delve deep into maybe getting into much more, I would say, less creative environments that did not necessarily cater to your soul urge.
Mhm. Right.
But then once you got into a very nurturing business like you're doing now, which
Right.
is all about, nurturing others, this is when you discovered just how potent and how important this number is in your chart.
That's a really good point, because I know I often tell people, you might not be able to articulate what you're passionate about, but you'll know it when you feel it.
Right.
Right?
Exactly. You
You
hit
just
it
know
right
it.
on the nail.
When you're in alignment with it, and people will say to them, well, how do I find my life's purpose? I said, what do you enjoy doing? Well, I enjoy writing. We'll do more of that, So just it's getting engaged and allowing yourself to be engaged in it.
Right. I agree with that 100%. And that's the beautiful thing, is just understanding, like how the soul urge plays kind of like it's like the background number, it's like,
Yeah,
it actually does take you to a journey where it makes you realize what truly makes you happy.
right.
Because first it's going to lack that. You're not going to have a true indication of what the soul urge is, but then it brings you to that aha or that epiphany moment in your life.
Yeah,
So,
and I think that the life path number being the lesson number, we tend to spend a lot of time there. We tend to kind of work our way through that.
mhm,
Me, the 7 is all, being that spiritual teacher, being the specialist in the field,
mhm,
being that spiritual person. But the 6, in relevance to that, the 6 heart's desire number for me says I was putting everybody else ahead of myself too, which didn't allow me to explore what am I good at? What am I, not necessarily what I'm good at, but what makes me happy, right?
right.
That's just using one example as the 6. So I guess we're trying to illustrate just how complex a chart can be. And so when we're looking at pursuing relationships, we can't throw all of the stock into just looking at the life path number as the internet would hope you to believe, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
So how do you feel about these online calculators?
I have a, I have a little nudge against them, you know, because honestly, when you're putting in your name and your birthday, yeah, you do get to understand the most broadest aspect, which is your life path 8, your life path 6. But, you know, to be honest, it doesn't really give you, first of all, the compound number, which is what kind of life path are you? Okay. It doesn't really say that. And then also, you know, a calculator can never, anything that has to do with technology could never really, you know, replicate what a human being can do, which is have the power of intuition. You know, so for example, you put in your partner's name and your name, and then you see just the broader aspects, and you're like, you just make assumptions with that. And that's something that allows you to not really understand your partner, because now you're just throwing things into function, as opposed to someone who can actually tell you, okay, this is what's happening. You know, when you see someone who is actually doing this kind of work, they can tell you, first of all, how your life path matches, and then how the expression number can also bring about other types of tensions. And the sword, which I think is the most important, is going to tell you if this journey is going to be even worth it, because is your desire to actually do something in this lifetime going to align with theirs?
Right. I mean, when I think about somebody who has the heart's desire number of a 5, the 5 is all about their freedom. They want to come and go as they please. They want to be able to, you know, whereas somebody who's life path number of the 4, they want security. They want to know that, you know, they get up every morning and they do their 9-to-5 job or whatever their routine is. They're far more apt to be reliant and feel comfortable and less threatened with a routine, right? So the 5 is kind of threatening to the 4. Simply because, and yet from the other side of it too, they can be actually good for, you know, if you look at the other side of it, they can actually be good for them. The 5 needs a bit more grounding. The 4 needs a bit more adaptability and flexibility.
Right. And I also think when you see your partner's entire chart, you kind of see like also if they're troubled or if they're kind of in alignment with themselves as well, because when there's a lot of incompatible numbers in your chart, there's a little bit of restless energy that does not allow you to have a clear indication of what you need to do. So that's also another factor I think that's important in understanding your partner, because, you know, are you willing to really, you know, deal with that, with their indecisiveness or their journey as well, right? You know. So.
Well, so I think, I mean, I do a lot of work with people with relationship compatibility charts, and I do a lot of family dynamic charts. And one of the things I find that I tend to spend a lot of time looking at is the cycle that they're in. And one of the simplest cycles to look at, of course, is the personal year that they're in. So I try to get my clients to map out, we draw a little drawing out together, and we map out where they are and where their husband is and where the son is and where the daughter is. And we look at the group dynamics as to what's going on, you know. So if we know that our partner is in a year of 8, okay, the 8's all about manifestation, getting something done and taking their ideas and actually turning it into something. That's a real go year, right?
Right.
But if I'm in a year of 7, I don't want to be in a grow year. In fact, I don't even want you around, right? I want to be by myself.
Right.
So, and that's okay, right? Because that's a temporary, but if we understand the cycle, we know it's temporary, right? We know it's only 12 months and you're really only feeling it for about 9. So it's okay. You know.
Right. And then it's also like knowing the personal year. It's like, you know, you get to kind of, you get to understand them and what's going on during that year. So now you work around them and they work around you. And that way, you know, you kind of know what boundaries you don't have to set during that year and what you don't have to impose on them either, you know.
I think the influence too of the full birth name produces the essence number, and the essence number tells us how is that person going to go through the personal year. And listen, you know, you don't see that too often with the online calculators. You'll see some of it, but interpreting it is a whole different thing. So I really feel this is not about trying to sell anybody on the idea of doing business with either one of us. It's not about that. It's awareness, you know, whatever you choose to do, whatever feels right to you, that's what you go with, right? But I think it's really important to understand that there's so much more to know than just the life path number.
Right. And I think we just got to continue to push that, because it's like, you know, there are like other things that are outside, and I feel like there's so much of that energy is always in the life path, you know. And that just gives a disservice to people, because it's like, you know, you're basically just, you're lumping everyone in one number,
Right.
basically. Not even in different compound numbers as well, which is like, you know, 9 life path could be a 9 or an 18, 27, 36, 45. Everyone has different ways of understanding the 9 energy. You know, you
Right.
can see the lessons just
Absolutely.
from the numbers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and the reality of it is that simplicity sells, right? Now I can remember, I've been on this planet a little longer than you, but not by, you know, too much.
right.
Shut up. However, having said that, I can remember when myself and my business partner, astrologer Holly Poole, she and I created our first website, and we were actually one of the first out there with a website that embraced both astrology and numerology. And then I went on to have my own. But what I was thinking back to was that there wasn't a whole lot on numerology on the internet when I first got going, right?
Yeah.
And over the years, I'm about 17 years now, over the years, all these new websites are coming up, and like I said, simplicity sells.
Right.
And it's just, you have to be really, really careful.
Yeah.
If you're going to wager whether you're going to invest time in a relationship or not,
Right.
do yourself a favor. I mean, if this person is worth considering, they're worth more than an online calculator evaluation, right? I guess that's where I'm coming.
And I think also, like, people, even this also affects people who start to get into this field, you know,
Yeah.
because you see how everyone else is like dealing with the numbers, oh, the life path number, and then they start dealing with that certain number only,
Right.
when they're dealing with their clientele. And I think, you know, like I said, I do believe in my heart. I do believe in my heart there needs to be more research.
Yes.
You know, like, I think there needs to be more people that can bring innovative ideas to numerology, because it can feel like it can feel repetitive at times, like, oh, life path 7, blah, blah, blah. You know, but are the other factors, you know, that you can find? Like, you know, I think numerology can also be intertwined with psychology, you know. You can
Oh,
see,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
you know, like it gets to the point of a person's purpose in life. And I think, you know, if we accept it a little bit more and just really just try to open our hearts to really delve deeper into it, I think that's where the magic can happen.
Well, there's so many different theories as to how we do calculations, as to what each value and vibration of each number means,
Mm-hmm.
you know, how it was discovered, all. You know what? At the end of the day, I truly believe that if you're online and you're surfing the internet and you're trying to figure out who would I want to go and have a reading with, go with your gut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just go with your gut. Whatever feels right to you. My style is very different from your style, right? Your style is different from my style. And we need more of that, right? We
Yeah.
need more people out there like that, because I truly believe that whoever contacts me, connects with me, regardless of what my theory is about how to calculate a life path number or how to do any other combination of numbers, regardless, if you feel drawn to connect with me, it's because you're meant to, for whatever reason.
Right.
Likewise for yourself, you know. And you've got the lovely advantage of being able to blend their Vedic astrology in with the numerology as well, right? Which is brilliant. I mean, I've had a reading with you and it just blew my socks off, right? Yeah, the illumination was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, my Huna Kuna Muna.
Yeah, there you go. We both have that alignment.
That we've got going on. I don't know what that is.
There
But
you
anyway,
go.
I get what it is,
No,
but I don't know what
it's funny because it's funny how I saw that, because like even when you gave me my reading, if you guys don't know, Miss Ampere gave me a reading, a numerology reading, and I was like, I have never seen numbers the way she actually interpreted the numbers. I never really, the way that you gave me that information was, first of all, it was just something like I was taken to another universe. Even the way that you start talking about the reading, how you were like, you know, in the beginning you said, oh, when you were born, you chose this contract. And it was just so, like, you took me to a journey. It's like you took me to a journey through my numerology chart, which I think was just something I was brilliant in my opinion. So I just.
It's a story, right?
Yeah.
You just create a story, and all I'm trying to do is reintroduce you to the soul's contract you wrote for yourself in the beginning.
Right.
But you forgot what it was.
Right. Exactly.
So,
that's so true.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful experience.
So any tips for our viewers? Anything that we can suggest that might help to determine whether a relationship is worthy of pursuing or not? Something that would be really down and dirty and quick, that they could figure something out about a person.
Well, I think, you know, first of all, you know, understanding the first letter of a name is actually a really good insight for someone to understand a person's energy and you know, how they vibrate. So, you know, it's something that I think can work. You probably could explain this a little bit more, but another thing I really wanted to say is, you know, just looking at the entire chart and seeing every aspect. You know, it's not just a life path number. It's not just, you know, the sword, I think, is where you have to really see it. But I think like everything else also plays a big part of it. And to understand also, like, you know, that everything that you read online, like if it's not something that resonates with your partnership, then maybe there needs to be something more that needs to be discovered. So even utilizing your own intuition, you know, can be like, I truly recommend that. And I always tell people, especially people that want to get into reading people's charts, you know, you can read as many books, you can read as many information online, but if you don't have the intuition, you're not going to be able to connect things together. And I think that's the number one aspect of understanding compatibility.
It's the puzzle, right? It's a
Right.
code.
Yeah.
This is a birth code that we're looking at, that we're trying to crack.
Right.
And you can't do it through an online calculator. If you haven't got a reasonable amount of experience with numerology, it's difficult to do. But I would encourage everybody to pick up some decent books. Actually, the books from Matthew Oliver Goodwin, I find are phenomenal.
Right.
He only wrote 2 back in the 80s. He's long since dead now, but he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But with regards to going back to the first initial, we call that the cornerstone.
Yes.
If you even know just somebody's first initial of their published birth name, the first birth certificate, if you just ask somebody, so what's your first name, right? You know, is that what it was on your birth certificate, right? Without looking at your lunatic. If you're lucky enough to get the information and you happen to have a Pythagorean alphabet in your purse or your wallet, it would help you out a lot, right? So for example, the first initial of my name is an A, which says I'm a leader, I'm a pioneer, I'm also an Aries, so that goes true to form, right? But I'm kind of out there and creative, that sort of thing. You, on the other hand, Bridgette, your first letter is a B, which vibrates at the vibration of the 2. The A vibrates at the 1, the B vibrates at the 2. So you kind of prefer to be sort of in the sidelines, in the background. You know, you're very much the peacekeeper, somebody who's helping. My dog screaming in the background. Yeah, she wants to have her say too. So
bring her in.
Yeah. Her name is Piper, so her first initial is a P. We won't go there. But no, but seriously, like, you can tell an awful lot about a person just if that's the only bit of information you can get about them, and you really want to get an idea as to whether you should really spend any time with them. That's a good place to start, right? It's a quick and easy way to do it.
Right.
You know,
beautiful tips there.
Yeah. So anyway, how do people find you?
Well, they can find me on my YouTube. You just type in Bridgette Love and I'll be the first one to appear. You guys can also check out my website. It is bridgettelove.com if you guys are interested. You guys, I actually just started a mailing list, so you guys can sign up for that. April 2018 will be the first newsletter I send out. So there will be an exclusive video about your life path in that newsletter. So please make sure to sign up. And yeah, that's pretty much how you can find me. So thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. It's always a pleasure. Even though we can't get our crap together in the beginning, it's all good. We got to finish to the end, right? Because we rock.
Yes.
Always a pleasure. So I'm Ann Perry Numerologist. I'm AnnPerryNumerologist.com. Got a Facebook page, got a YouTube channel, got the website. I've got a resource page. So a lot of this information that you're learning on YouTube, I'm going to have that illustrated on the resources page. So there's some worksheets and stuff you can get there, descriptions of life path numbers, all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested, stop on by. I also have a mailing list. I only mail out once a month if I'm really good, but I promise not to bombard you, as I know Bridgette is committed that way too. So no spam here. So, anyway, that's it for today. Really hope that you enjoyed it and that you will like the video, share the video, comment on the video, share it with your friends, because I'm sure there's lots of people out there that can really benefit from this. So,
and press the notification button as well.
yeah, the little bell thing. That'd be awesome. Go for the bell.
Right.
All right, guys. Thanks so much, Bridgette. Really appreciate you stopping by today.
Bye-bye.
Take care, guys. Bye for now.
Bye.